Welcome to Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise and News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WINA, and brought to you by the Jefferson School Foundation with Marky and Price coming to you downtown Charlottesville. I'm happy to be here. If y'all know me, I was on CPT, but not always. So thanks for waiting for me, guys. Today we're thrilled to be...
No one knows what time it is. Like, it's not like the show's not airing right now.
I got here at
like
7:17.
Someone's listening to this on like Wednesday at 2 o'clock. I mean, like, I don't know when it started. I don't
well,
know.
You seem on time to me.
When was it recorded? It's whenever I click start. You were here. When I clicked play.
Look, I was here at the very beginning of the show and be here at the very end.
That's exactly right. That's all that matters.
Today we are thrilled to be joined by Troy Robinson, local entrepreneur and business owner. I once heard him say he started his business when he was just a kid selling candy out his backpack. So he started young.
Really?
He continuing it.
Okay.
We'll get into that a little later. But most excitingly for me, our next guest on this episode of Envision Radio.
Wow. All right. What's
hey,
going on,
Troy.
man?
Hey, how y'all doing?
You came here on that 107 temperature day.
Yeah.
You're back in the threes.
Is it really?
107 today, so drink lots of water.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do not love that. I'm always annoyed by, he's one of the people, Tara Fairley's one of the people that have better radio voices than me. That frustrates me. I don't love that.
We got some pros on these days.
Yeah, I know. You can tell real early, too. You're like,
let's try to see. Troy can sit right where I'm at.
Yeah.
He interview us.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm enjoying it.
He said, I've always had to push through the questions.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. But it is always good to have people who understand the medium. We tell a joke in here sometimes that we've had some people that will be like, so, you did this project and how was it? And they'll be like, good.
Yes.
And you're like,
we had somebody do 3 questions that way.
We had someone nod
like
one
that,
time.
Right.
That's a funny story. People
that's
nodding.
So funny.
We had to say, they just nodded, so that's a yes.
Yeah, right. Like no one can see. Like, I don't know.
This is radio. This is for the airwaves.
Someone's on 64 like, is it good? Did it work? We're just in here.
Everybody's silent.
Carrying on.
That is funny. That is funny.
So look, for folks who don't know you and who haven't come across you, which is probably not very many people, but if they haven't, give them a little bit of the backstory. Let's go back to childhood. Let's start at the beginning.
All right.
And then we will, who knows where we'll end up.
Well, my mama named me
there.
Troy.
There you go, good.
So we'll call you Troy.
But everybody calls me Razor here in the Charlottesville area
right.
right there. So it's, people always ask me how I got the name.
Yeah, that's
so
nice.
it's the story that I tell, and then it's the truth.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And somewhere in the middle.
There's 5 sides to every story.
Sure.
Yeah. So the story that I tell everybody is I was a barber for a long time, and I was very good. So it went along with that. But the truth of the matter is I was a street drag racer on motorcycles. So
what?
That's how I used to pay
race.
my rent. That's how I used to take care of my kids. I used to go from Atco, New Jersey, all the way down to the Carolinas, and I would dress up like a country boy with coveralls and muddy Timberland boots.
Come on.
And people would always say, I'll race him, not knowing I was a cold killer. So the race was over within the first 10 feet. So that's where the name Razor came from.
Hold on.
It's like when you're playing pool and you lose
I
the first 2.
understand that. I understand the hustle part of it. I'm not confused about that. How did that start?
My mom raced cars. My dad was a mechanic. My mom used to sit on. We used to go to a place called Summed Up.
Yeah.
And she had one of the Smokey and the Bandit 454 Trans Ams.
No kidding.
And my mom used to sit on pillows and telephone books. And she had a fast foot.
Wow.
So, but I'm terrified to go fast in a car, but on a motorcycle I feel safer.
A motorcycle, you feel safe, you don't got no doors or windows.
That's
on the
just
hood.
it. I just, for whatever reason, I get paranoid in a car and I drive like I'm 80.
Really?
But on a motorcycle, it's just, everything just slows down. Everything just makes more sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, wow. That's... So was that? So did you? So your dad's a mechanic. So you obviously that's a sort of part of your upbringing.
No. I was. He used to come home with his knuckles bleeding and everything. And I said, Lord, no, I ain't doing that.
So you wasn't ever into fixing the cars and motorcycles?
Absolutely. I was into fixing the motorcycles because they, transitioned over from bicycles. Putting chains on, changing the seats around, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So then when it came to motorcycles, in order for it to fit how I rode, I had to do certain things to make it fit me. Okay. Instead of just the status quo of what standard would be. So that's how I learned.
Wow. And so was that growing? I mean, so you were doing that growing up though? Like
I started.
When was your first race?
When I won my first race.
When was your first race?
Oh, shoot. Probably 7 years old.
Oh, no
dirt
kidding.
bikes. Everybody in my neighborhood had dirt bikes. So, we would race in a minute. Like, it was anything.
Yeah.
We were very competitive. It was like 90% boys.
Sure.
So everything was competitive. So by the age of 10, I could ride a wheelie mile and a half on a dirt bike.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild. Wow. That's, I don't know. I had like a plan, and then that's gone, because that's crazy. So, okay, so you grew up doing that. So then, how
fishing.
That tracks.
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
Down in front of Lake of the Woods.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yep. So that area right there was my whole family right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
So how did you I mean, at what point were you like, I want to do this for real? Like, I want to, because I think a lot of
you started
kids,
traveling.
and like a lot of young boys, even everywhere. You grow up biking around, and then you transition to dirt bikes at some point, and then if you're me, you're like, all right, that's enough.
That's enough.
I got to the dirt bike phase, and I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm fine with that, right? But at what point were you like, all right, cool, like this is a thing that I want to do, that I want to make money off?
There was a track called Summer Duck in Remington, right on the other side of Culpeper, before you get to Manassas, that everybody used to go to on Thursdays, right? So the city boys would come down, and we'd race them, which was an 8th mile, and they would talk trash.
Okay.
So then it was, they had more money than we had, so their bikes were faster, but we could outride them.
Okay.
So they wanted us on the longer tracks.
They want a longer track.
Right. So the bike could take over.
Sure.
So then once I realized, like, my pockets wasn't as deep as theirs, and a lot of them couldn't race when it came to tracks are prepped with this stuff called HVT that makes the tires sticky.
Okay.
So, but on the highway, like, you don't have that type of traction. So you really have to understand the concept of the clutch and the tire pressure and everything. So that's where now, I do not recommend anybody do that. Let me make sure I say that. Do not. Yeah,
it's a disclaimer, right? For anybody listening, like,
But it was something that, it just was who I was. I wasn't trying to do anything illegal. It was just who I was as a person. So then my thing is, when they would, like clockwork, say, well, look, come to these tracks right here. I knew that once I got on that track, I was going to lose because they had faster bikes.
Okay.
But I would say, okay, when the track closes, let's go out here on the street then, right here, right now.
Okay.
So then that way I'm already a win up on them.
Yeah.
Right? So then that's what I would do. So then we would travel and go to the, we still enjoyed going to the racetracks and racing and stuff, right?
Okay.
But it was nothing like pulling up to different places where bikes hung out and wait to see where the races were going to go.
Okay.
And you're sitting there looking out of place, and somebody looking at you like you're an easy victim.
Okay.
And you're sitting there with a trap the whole time.
Interesting.
Yep. So that's what me and my friends would do. You know what I'm saying? They would go, and we'd act like we weren't friends. And then they would be like, man, I'm going to race that little country. Look at him. He dirty. They would talk all kind of trash about me, and then run the bets up.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, this is Envision Radio from the 90 Wave Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise. News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WNA. Price and Markey here with, Vin Diesel.
It's too fast and it's too furious.
Troy Robinson here in the studio with us. Big thanks to our sponsor, our friend, the Jefferson School Foundation, jeffersonschoolfoundation.org. When did you collect the money on bets on that? Like, how did the payout work? Someone goes, I want to race him, bet. Were you walking away with cash on that, or was that just kind of like
at the risk of implicating myself?
Right.
I think it was legal then, right?
I don't know how the laws work. Don't get me started.
So statute of limitations. NIL deal. That's exactly right. Yeah.
All jokes aside, everything was cash.
Interesting.
Everything was cash.
So there's a whole underground economy involved in
absolutely.
Fast and Furious, yes. There's an underground economy.
Ludacris made a rocket in Fast and Furious. I don't know how much of that is true.
I stopped at 9 or 5 or something. You don't need a 10-movie franchise.
They orbited the Earth. I
heard somebody say they went to space, but I thought that was a joke.
The Rock pulled a helicopter with the chain.
You're thinking about the cars from the JDR from the Japanese. Think Biker Boys.
Yeah, sure. I'm just interested in the culture of it, right? So there's just this. The unspoken understanding existed anywhere you went. Where this is how this works.
Yeah,
you roll up to a place.
Doctors,
yeah,
it could be a homeless person that had a bike. That it could be. I mean, you can't tell who a person is when he has a helmet on.
Right, but it was just you pull up to wherever.
No. Once you get to a certain level, it's an undisclosed area.
I see. That's what I was interested in because I was like, you just have this weird mash of like,
it's not like a public fair.
I see.
Okay.
No. But I thought, it's like there's spots like people know where to go and when, and so it's all built around like we're here to do this thing, and then it gets organized and kind of like it's sort of like pickup basketball in a way of like people turn up. And then you go, okay, I'll pick my 4, we'll do the thing. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So that's how I took care of myself for many years, for about 8 years.
And no, like, grievous motorcycle injuries?
Nah, all my bad accidents happened on the dirt.
Okay.
And I was fortunate enough never to go down on the street.
Yeah. So why'd you stop?
My kids started to be like me.
Oh, they wanted to race too?
To be like me.
Yeah. I started seeing the me in my kids.
I know that's right.
And I had to walk away from it because I was so influential in their lives that I had to walk away from it.
Okay.
Because if I didn't, they were destined to do the same thing.
Sure.
And they just weren't me.
It could have been in the blood.
Nah. The desire was, but it wasn't.
Some people ain't built the same.
I wanted it to be there.
Okay.
But it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And what was that? I mean, what was that transition like? Because that's a very niche lifestyle, right? It's not like, I was an economist and now I'm a teacher, right? I mean, that's a much different. Like, how do you get out of that and into something else?
It's hard. Think of a person who has a vice on their life.
Yeah.
It could be drugs. It could be alcohol. It could be anything. So for like the person who smells the alcohol or the drugs that wants to indulge in it, me hearing a motorcycle that somebody's like really going through the gearbox will like literally, for a while, it would just make me break out in sweat.
It's like the Green Goblin, man.
Yeah. Because you want to get him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
do you still own a motorcycle?
No, I sold my last one probably about 4 months ago, but I hadn't ridden in about like 4 years.
Okay, you're just keeping it.
Yeah.
As for nostalgia.
Yeah.
Okay.
I probably had at one time 8 motorcycles.
8?
Yeah.
So so it's like basketball shoes. Like today I'm going to dunk on Kobe. Tomorrow I'm going to shoot a 3.
Yeah. Well, I did it like women do shoes. So depending on whether it was an off and on bike or a cruiser or a street bike. And it gave me peace.
Okay.
So if I want to ride this particular way, I'm going to ride this particular type of motorcycle. So
wow.
That
8
was what
bikes
I
is a whole bunch of bikes.
No, not when you buy them when they don't work, and then you build them.
Okay, so you were building them up from the base.
Yeah. So I would only buy bikes that did not work. Yeah. After my first one, I bought bikes that didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you didn't escape the mechanic lineage.
I didn't. I just didn't want to be. This is how I pay for life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What did your parents think about all this?
Well, his mama was winning races.
She's flying along right by him. She's like,
she was actually beating him in a couple of them races. She took his money.
She takes the helmet off. You're like, ain't no way.
So this is where like the razor part starts to like come out and people see the nickname. So I had this thing and they just said like they had cheap couches on here, stuff like that. So like this is something I used to enjoy doing, which is crazy. But I used to enjoy trying to find police with the radar checks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I would go back through and I come through and make them chase me. Right. So then. So all my friends couldn't stand riding with me because they knew how I was.
I wish y'all could see my face.
So, I mean, that was...
If you like it, I love it.
If I was bored, I would ride around trying to find police officers doing radar checks so I could make them chase me. Like, I was a different person as a younger. So
That's a risk sport.
So then the bad part, it got to the point where at my property, we had garages in the back of the property, right? So my dad could tell the way I was coming in if I was running from the police. So then he would hit the button. This is
movie franchise.
And the garage door would go open and I'd pull in and he'd put the garage door down when I would up inside
there. Vin Diesel and them stole your story.
Listen,
they stole your story.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. You need to get your rights, your copyrights back.
It's a lot of people that had that story, but it's a lot of people that things turn out bad.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like I just saw an accident on 95.
Is that right?
The other day, running from the state police, right? So
really?
A lot of people have more money than they have riding ability. So they'll buy bikes that they're not prepared for. And there's so many variables. That's why I said it's not something that I'm trying to glorify. It's my story.
Right.
But it's not nothing I would glorify for anybody.
Yeah, that's interesting. Have your views on that changed as you've gotten older and just like, you know what I'm saying? And you sort of, now that you're a father, right? Does the world look different from sort of the young adrenaline junkie? Are you like, yo?
I didn't ride with a helmet when I was riding dirt bikes as a kid. It just wasn't a thing.
Sure.
But I would never let my kids ride there without a helmet. Like, I mean, they be full padded up, everything. You know what I'm saying? So it was, the rules change. It's like a guy. You might be a womanizer, but as soon as you have a daughter, all rules go out the. It don't matter what you did.
Right.
This is my daughter. All the rules go out the window.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it's the same way when you have kids. When you're doing something that could potentially harm them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you get out of bike riding, and what do you go into next?
Business.
What business?
Any business. Like, that's why it's like being a serial entrepreneur.
Okay.
Is what I had to try to find that itch.
Okay. What was the first business?
Like I told you, when I was a kid,
the candy.
Yep, selling
candy.
blow pops out of the backpack.
Right.
That was the first business. And when I look back, it's like, okay, my dad was my bank because
he was loaning you money. I
guess.
He
allowance.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I had an allowance.
No interest loan.
Right. And then you find your market.
Sure.
The kids at school. Like, so the process does not change. It's just the volume by which you operate. Or the risk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So let's say, for instance, if somebody takes your book bag and you lose your money or the principals or whatever, you've taken a loss, but it's not that big. Something happens in your everyday business where you're taking care of the community, it's a harder hit to reestablish all the things that you have. If somebody wrecks your trucks or somebody vandalizes something or you make a bad business deal, you mess up credit and you can't get, I mean, the concept is the same. It's just the level by which you play at changes. That's why a lot of people, start businesses that aren't in business for the duration of their, life.
So I read somewhere that you're also a union electrician?
Yeah, I was a union electrician for a long time. Like, that's something that I really enjoyed. My grandfather, my dad's dad was one of the ones who, my family's from the Ivory Coast of Africa.
Okay.
And Indian, right? So the majority of my family is still on Indian reservations. Right?
Really?
Even though I look more like granddaddy.
Sure. Interesting. Okay.
So he did, when you go into D.C. National Harbor, the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, he was one of the electrical engineers that did that. My dad had a 7th grade education, and he did electrical systems for Volvo and Mercedes, and then ran UPS up in Springfield. So it was just something, electricity made sense to me. It's just something that, for whatever reason. So I worked for Local 26 for a long time. I enjoyed being an electrician until they started going out, taking the measurements, building them inside the factories, and then shipping the pieces out like a puzzle.
Okay.
In my mind, a monkey could do that.
Okay.
So that's not why I got into electrical work. I got into it because I could walk into, like, say you walk into Walmart and you look and see the pipes and stuff bent. I could look, and I had a very good depth perception. So I could bend the wires and I could do things that a lot of people couldn't do the way that I did it at the speed that I did. So I loved being an electrician. Yeah.
And were you doing that when, at what phase of, let's take the life phases. Okay. We have like young blow pop salesman to Fast and Furious street racer. Where does electrician fit in?
Electrician came in after I had been I was incarcerated.
Okay.
Right? I had
skip that part of the story.
No,
man.
we hadn't got there. You still had me as a kid.
Okay.
So, I was incarcerated. I fell, it was 1992. I was on my way to Fort Union Military Academy. Eddie George was my roommate.
Who?
Eddie George.
The Eddie George?
Yeah. So it was a bunch of us, me, Derek Bird.
NFL Hall of Fame running back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
So, he was from Philadelphia. Like, I was planning on replacing Pat Swilling down at Georgia Tech. I had my whole thing mapped out.
Sure.
My SATs were low. So I was going to...
Time out. Stop. Pause. Okay. We went the whole drag racing route.
Yeah.
There was a whole sports arc too.
Oh yeah, I was.
While he was doing the drag racing.
No. High school, I was one of the bigger athletes that came out of Virginia in the early '90s. So I mean, we did really well. Your brother, I used to help him with football and stuff like that. So I did really well in football.
Okay.
So,
and was that the thing? Was the goal to go play football?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I used to sleep with a football as my pillow.
Really?
Yeah, for like 4 years.
Wow.
Like that was my pillow.
Yeah.
I had a water bed at the age of 11. and California King waterbed, and I slept with a football as my bed. You know, so I had no reason. I didn't do anything wrong. I just wouldn't tell on the people that were really close to me.
Interesting.
So it was PD Task Force 9. They came after me, had wrote out my whole story, and was like, all you got to do is sign this. 18 people would have went to jail for stuff that they knew, but because I'd never missed a day of school, it would literally have locked the case. So I figured in my mind, they're not going to do anything to me. I haven't done anything wrong.
That's right.
I'm just affiliated with these people. They're my family. They're my first cousins. I took baths with these people at 3, 4, 2 years old.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it was no way for me to say I didn't know what they was doing, but I had a good life. Yeah. Some of them didn't, right? But they were still my first cousins.
Sure.
And I wouldn't tell, so I just didn't think that they were doing. So all of them got released, and then they prosecuted me. So
really,
I traded my life for theirs.
For how long?
21 months.
Wow.
But when they first locked me up, they gave me 101 years, and I wouldn't talk.
101 years?
Mm-hmm.
That seems like.
And then they gave me.
I really hate when I don't get them. Like, okay,
that is annoying. That is annoying.
It's like you got 150 years.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. They couldn't give it to me because I'd never been in trouble. So then when I went to prison, they gave me 54 years. Well, Governor Wilder stepped in and was like, I'm not going to let them take your life from you because something doesn't add up with this picture. He said, now I can't release a drug dealer. I was like, I'm not a drug dealer. He said, just stop talking.
Can't release a blow pop
You know
salesman.
what I'm saying? Right. So Governor Wilder, and I hope he hears the story and he should remember this case. My mom and dad, we had the resources to be able for them to go and advocate for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so Governor Wilder took up 2 cases, me and a guy by the name of Bubba Chuck. Bubba Chuck ended up being Al Iverson. He got released to John Thompson to go.
I remember that story.
And and the only thing they were going to do with me, they was like, okay, you can go back to Fort Union or you can go to the military.
Okay.
By the time they gave me that option, my mind had started changing and I was starting to become institutionalized. So instead of
after being in there.
No. This was before then. This was like a couple months in.
Okay.
So when they came to me with the deal, was like, okay, you can get released. We're going to send you to back to Fort Union, but you got to sign these papers. You got to turn this off. I told him, man, send me back to my cell.
Really?
After only being there for a couple of months?
Yep. After being there like 6 months.
No way.
Yeah. My mind, I didn't know nobody in my family had been incarcerated. So I didn't understand that the people around me had started influencing the way that I thought, right? So they sent me back, they at my request. You know? So, 21 months later. And it's sad because the places that they had me at, Camp 8, State Farm, all these different places, I was the younger person in there, but I ended up running the places I was at. Mm-hmm. So if you're a leader, you're a leader.
Entrepreneurs are entrepreneur everywhere.
The Life movie, there were grown people in there that could not read, that I used to read their letters to them, right? And I worked inside the school to help people get their GEDs and things of that nature. And when you help people that don't have anything, like my parents, I never missed a visit. My parents came every single week for 21 months. Wow. And I had money always it's called on your books, on your account. Yeah. Right. So I would help people out. Well, that turned into me having store boxes inside, which is illegal in prison. You know what I'm saying? But it was how you helped people that didn't have anything. You might get them to wash your clothes or make a drawing for you or things of that nature, right? So the entrepreneurship was there without any toolage. I just always had the mind of how can I multiply what I'm doing. Which I didn't have any kids or anything, so it's not like I have a reason why not to do certain things.
Yeah.
Get released, trying to figure out what to do.
You're what, 20?
Yeah. Yep. Got locked up November 26, 1992. Got out February 25th, 95.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then get out, trying to figure out what to do. Yeah. I wasn't a criminal.
Sure.
To go in there. I just wouldn't tell.
Right.
But my mind was when I got released.
Yeah.
Like you hear so many stories of the things that's going on around you that it blurs together where you don't know your stories from theirs. So you hear all the things that they did wrong. Where if you're a calculating person, you start learning, well, you should have did this, or you should have, this should have been your exit plan. You should have moved, like you have all these things.
You're engaged with more criminal activity, ideas of criminal activity than you would have been.
You never
and
get
they
away
just sent
from
you
it.
home with a ankle bracelet.
You never get away from it. So you figure 24/7, you're hearing all these stories. And if you're at one of the bigger places, you're talking about thousands of people.
Sure.
Right? So when I came out, I was a criminal mastermind. Like,
right. Just by osmosis.
Yeah. Like I look back now and I came out and I saw the world different.
Yeah.
Like totally different.
Right.
You know, because you start recognizing the have and have nots, who is the predators, who's the victims, who's the, you know what I'm saying? Like your mind just works so fast.
Yeah.
In ways that I was like, I had to force myself not to react to what had started to become natural to me, you know? So some people can't survive after being locked up and they become institutionalized and they go back to recidivism. They go back to jail, right?
That's right.
And others figure out ways. There are a lot of people that I know that you might see on Wall Street now, or you might see in different areas that I know. And they were, you know, they just had, you see movies and it's cool when they got the striped suit on and you like, here, ball. Well, that person also had a state number and some blues on and, you know, somebody gave them a chance and their account was sealed and different things happened. And they are people that's going around in very high places right now, running a lot of things that are important.
Right. That's right.
But my story was I had to force myself to not do wrong. Like, to be honest with you, it wasn't about being a good person or bad person. It's like I see where I can financially grow myself, so I had to go against that. And that was one of the hardest things in the world, to not become what I had become. And then I went to go apply for a job as it was something small, like, I don't know, wash toilets at Service Master or something like that.
Sure.
And walked in the wrong door, and it was an electrical company next door to it. And they were just getting started. So I filled out the application, and then I'm like, you know, so when do I get a uniform? Then he was like, no, you don't need a uniform. And we were talking, and I realized, and he realized that I wasn't the person that he was supposed to be interviewing.
You were in the wrong. You were not the guy he was supposed to be meeting to do the electricity.
Nope, that guy was late, and I walked in the wrong door. So it was a company called LT Bowden and Fredericksburg, Chantilly. And that's how I got started. So then I was a house rat is what they called them. I started doing Ryan Homes, Envy Homes, and it just made sense to me. And I didn't know that my grandfather and my father were into it like this. And from that point, I went on being a commercial electrician and an industrial electrician, and then working in places that don't exist. Now, this is after being in prison, FBI, CIA, Quantico, because the way that I saw things and the way I could figure out electrical stuff was something they hadn't seen in a long time. So, like the Bible tells you, your talent will make room for you.
Amen.
So, I mean, and I wasn't a Christian at the time. Like, I wasn't one of those people that when I went to jail became a Muslim.
No, you didn't.
That's a phenomenon.
Yeah, I was, because I wasn't scared.
Didn't come out with a different name.
My dad was a boxer when I was young, so I knew how to fight.
Yeah,
you know, I knew how to fight, so I wasn't scared.
Right.
You know, so I studied all religions in the way I'm a Christian now, but I became a Christian because it came down to me becoming a Muslim, me becoming a Christian. Okay. Right. And the reason that I became a Christian was because when I would ask people, the people who I asked, now I could have asked somebody else like Louis Farrakhan, he might have said something else.
Sure, right.
But the people that I asked, like, what is the difference? Why don't you, if you say Jesus is the high prophet, why don't you believe who he said he is? And nobody had an answer for me. So if these religions are so tied in, and the person who is pretty much the author of both books, so to speak, Moses, had such an influence. Yeah. Why don't you believe who you say the high prophet is? That makes no sense. You believe everything about me except for who I say I am. So for me, that's why I became a Christian. So you walked into the wrong building at the right time.
Did the guy come? Did he end up being your
colleague?
The other guy
show up? No.
He never showed up, or he came, or
showed up.
they took his job and gave it to you?
Yeah, he Yep.
He walked in the other door.
He was that service master for sure. They was like, no, that guy already came in. He already got his credentials.
But a lot of my life is that way.
Okay.
Right. And as I got older, I understood that as I make mistakes, I ask God to order my steps and make it so I understand it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when hindsight is 20/20, you look back and you say, I shoulda. Mm-hmm. But you never ask for you to understand the path that you were taking. You just, you look back and say, man, I shoulda. And then sometimes that door is closed, or it's a door that the time is wrong. It's certain times you jump in, certain times you jump off. That's just the way life works for me. So I always ask now, help me understand where I need to be at in this situation right here. But I know that I went off track. What was the question that you had for me?
Oh, Lord. I don't know.
Which one question did you miss?
I don't even remember.
I think that is the answer to that question.
It doesn't even matter. That was better than anything I had anyway. Listen, just before we get back to it, this is Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise, News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WINA. Price Markey here with Troy Razor Robinson. Big thanks to our friend, our sponsor, Jefferson School Foundation. That's jeffersonschoolfoundation.org. Reimagined, redefined, refueled for the future. Yeah, man, I don't know. That was great. So, You got something? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, man.
When did you start Order Up, and how did that come about?
Order Up.
You like to cook too?
Order Up came, and I tell this story all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I was on the downtown. I owned a barbershop in Ruckersville.
Okay.
And called Inspirational Cuts.
Yeah,
right?
I know that.
So I had met my wife, and on our first date as a married couple, we were down on the downtown mall. I had a brother he's my brother now, but catch the chef, Tyler Berry. He had a hot dog cart down there. So he knew of me. I didn't know of him.
Okay.
So then he was like, yeah, my brother cuts hair too. I seen your business, So he says, man, why don't you buy my hot dog cart? And I'm like, man, but I don't sell no hot dogs, man. You going crazy. Sure. So first meal me and my wife had as a married couple, 2 Italian sausage, French fries, and a Pepsi and a Dr. Pepper, right? So she worked for the city. She still does, but she worked for housing for the city. So I would always go down there. It was a cheap meal and get it, and it was something that we enjoyed. So then one day he says, man, why don't you buy the hot dog cart? After like the 60th time he didn't said it, right? Okay. So now I'm like, man, I'm thinking about, I ain't really thinking about, I'm just trying to get him to talk about something.
That's right.
So then he says, man, why don't you hang out with me on Fridays after 5? I was like, what's that? He was like, it's something they have down Charlottesville, Friday after 5. That boy made like $1,000 in like an hour or 2,
seconds,
right?
Yeah. Everybody need a hot dog.
I went home and I told my wife, hey, babe, we need to buy this hot dog cart. Because, I was just talking trash, man. I wasn't. It was,
She said the hot dog cart you said you didn't want to buy 60 times?
That was just me talking. Well, she started taking her 401k and making payments on the hot dog cart. Okay. So then time passes. I show back up there to get our little meal that I always get. And he was like, hey, man, you going to pick the hot dog cart up today? And I was like, no, I don't think.
Sure.
Like it's not. Yeah. I'm like to the point. Like I'm not about to let this go on. We got months and months of this, right?
Sure.
So I'm like, nah, man, I don't think. He was like, what are you talking about? Your wife already paid for it. I said, what?
So you didn't know that was happening?
Not at all. And I was like, man, let me get back with you.
You got my card.
I shot over to her office real quick, and I said, hey, man, let me ask you a question. You bought this hot dog cart? And she was like, I'm sorry if I did something wrong. I would like for our family to have a business. You already have a business, but I would like to have something in our family. I'm sorry. And I was like, no. It's perfect. That's the right thing. I didn't want no hot dog cart.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
you did. I feel like she saw that you did.
No, that was me talking. She had just never met that side of me. Even though we was married, that's being truthful. She hadn't seen that side of me, right? Okay. But she was the first person in my life that believed in me, just strictly off of me saying something.
Sure.
I only said it to her once.
Sure.
And she went and then she invested her life, what she had worked for before I'd ever met her, to make this come true. So at that point, I wasn't going to let hell itself.
And you was going to go pick up the cart.
Pick up the cart and make it successful. I never worked at McDonald's, like nothing. I didn't even cook, like at all. Nothing. So we get started. She was an excellent cook.
Okay.
Good country cook. Right?
Yeah, sure.
But that's not the model by which this cart was set up.
Yeah.
It's quick, fast hot dog, So then we working, we figuring out, we cooking all the time. We're just trying to figure this whole thing out, right? Yeah. So it got to the point that, we started working it, and then she was like, maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe we should sell it and then cut our losses. And I'm like, nah, man, this thing get ready to pop this. I did not believe that at all, but
you gotta
project confidence. Project confidence.
It's about to be a breakthrough tomorrow. It's gonna be a hot dog festival.
But because she had done what she had done, I was going to work round the clock as a barber, do electrical on the side, whatever, to keep this cart afloat.
Yeah,
because it wasn't about the cart; it was about her.
That's right. That's
for me.
That's right.
So. And that's how Order Up got started, honest to God. The majority of things in my life, because I'm the mouthpiece, people think it's me. But in the last 15 years, everything that you see, whether it's me on the radio station, me with the hot dog cart, me with the Body Christian talk show, all that's my wife's ideas. Everything about me, the clothes you see.
Not the ideas, man.
This Brooks Brothers shirt with the monogram, all is my wife. These pants, like all of it's my wife. I'm just the...
Get you a wife and change your life.
I'm just the one that people see.
Right.
But in honesty, the seeds come from her. Yeah.
So you get the hot dog started. You sell those. The cart, I guess, becomes a success, and you move into
no.
Becomes a brick and mortar.
No, Lord, no. This what happened. The hot dog cart was struggling. We were doing stuff. We were making enough money to buy the food. Okay. But because we were black and doing it, it had the appearance that y'all must be doing something to be here. Most people didn't know about me cutting hair.
Okay.
And the people that knew I was cutting hair didn't know about the cart, except for the people in green. So both of those people thought
that both those things were doing really good on their own. Right.
Now, the barber was. Yeah. The barber was doing extremely well. I was a very successful barber.
Okay.
But the hot dog cart wasn't. COVID came.
Sure.
COVID was a godsend for me.
Oh, okay.
COVID was the best thing that could have ever happened to me when it came to the food business. Sure. People hate when I said that.
Because people like hot dogs during COVID?
No, it wasn't that. I didn't have a storefront.
You had no overhead.
No, it wasn't that.
You had no, you didn't have the fixed cost of a store, though.
No,
right?
That wasn't it.
Okay, go ahead.
You remember, you couldn't be around people.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had no building. I was out in the open.
Right.
So I was labeled essential.
Oh,
so then it was me and some guys from 106 that went under. They had own food trucks and they had a restaurant that was next to my barbershop.
Okay.
And we had a guy by the name of Cully Baggett. Okay. Cully Baggett had the idea of, man, we need to feed the first responders. Sure. So we called it Feeding the First Line. We were the original people of that.
Okay.
We created that. So then we showed up at the radio station where 101.3 is in the parking lot. I had asked them, I said, man, can we feed some of the first responders? They were like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
So we put it out there that we were feeding the first responders free, nurses, whatever. They called me and it was like, man, what have you done? And I'm like, Jaquan Middleton, look, I'm gonna throw his name out there right now because I'm gonna tell the truth. Jaquan was like, what have you done, man? You can't do this. And I was like, do what? I'm on the way there. I said, man, I parked my car. I asked you that. He said, dude, have you not been past here? There's fire trucks, ambulances, police cars all the way down Hillsdale Drive. Got 29 both ways blocked off and going back. What's the roundabout now?
Right.
He was like, the whole parking lot is covered. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'll pull up Albemarle, Shawsville, UVA, Martha Jefferson. Everybody was there. They were making rice and food and things of that nature. Right. So for me, Sam's Club donated all the food.
Oh, it's great.
When people like Enterprise heard what we were doing, they would all send their people to help us serve. I had people coming from that I went to high school with that were showing up from Fredericksburg to help us serve the food. So we ended up, I think the last count, we ended up serving 6,672 meals in 48 hours.
What?
I thought that was going to be the 6 months.
No. I
thought it was 6 months.
Round the clock.
Wow.
Yep. 3 food trucks. Me, Will Ish, Cully Baggett, and that was it. Wow. That was us. You know, we were just selling, people bringing us stuff. We were just selling stuff. Well, giving away stuff. Giving away. I'm sorry, not selling. And then it about killed us. Every last one of us.
Well, yes.
It just, we were done. So we were sitting out on the porch and my phone rings. Me and my son, Deacon. Yeah, we were out there cooking on the porch at nighttime about a week later. And the phone rings, 10 o'clock at night. I look at it. I don't know the number. Hello? And then he was like, hey, how you doing? Can I speak to Troy? I was like, hey, this is Troy.
Yeah, who called my phone?
He said, hey, this is John Kluge Jr.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, all right. You know what I'm saying? So, but I didn't know who he was at the time.
Sure.
So as he's talking, I'm just like, wait a minute. This can't be Kluge.
Mm-hmm.
Kluge, because at the time, me and my wife owned a transportation company where we did wine tours.
Yeah.
So I would go up there to where the Trump venues is now, but I knew that was the Kluge place, right? So I'm like, I'm listening to him, and I'm thinking it's a prank. This was back when people had the fake call, call, and people act like you was messing with their wife or stole something. You had the fake call. So
this is the Steve Harvey Moore show. You've been pranked.
So I honestly thought it was. So I told Deacon, I said, man, go get my tablet. So then I pulled up when him and John Hope were on the downtown mall talking. And I said, oh, my God. Mr. Kluge, I was getting ready to hang up on you. I thought this was a prank. He starts laughing, this, that, and other. He said, how did you do that event that y'all did, Feeding the Front Line? And I said, we just did it. He said, no, what was the planning? I said, there was no planning. We just got together and said we were going to feed the front line. My mom was a nurse for 54 years, so I had a soft spot for people in that field anyway.
Your mom was a car racing nurse?
Yeah.
She can
at Mary Washington Hospital.
She gonna help you
4 East.
Wrap up the bandages.
She get there quick.
Yeah.
Call Miss Robinson.
So he says, well, help is on the way. I didn't know what that meant.
Okay.
Right? So he was like, how do you feel about being one of the founding food businesses? Because a lot of people took credit for it. That wasn't them.
Oh, interesting.
It was me.
That's a very COVID
and it was Pearl Island.
Right?
As of black companies, we were the first two. I'm not going to say who took credit for it, but it was just me and Pearl Island. Right? He was the brick and mortar.
You have to pay.
I was the food truck.
Right.
But because of the numbers we did, they didn't know I had a cart. They thought I had a big truck, a big organization. They didn't
this whole time, I did think you had a truck. I thought you had maybe upgraded it sometime.
I had a 6-foot hot dog cart. And it was me and my kids that were making. So he introduced me to Jose Andreas, World Central Kitchen.
Sure.
So then they did the whole story. I became where I worked for them because COVID was known as a national disaster. So in the Charlottesville area, Order Up became, and this is stuff people can look up, Order Up became the founding food truck for that time frame.
Oh, interesting.
So then I made a lot of money in that time frame.
Yeah.
I tried to get the other guys, 106, to come along with me, but they were building a restaurant. They was like, man, that's your thing. Go ahead. And the problem was, and I'm going to finally say it openly, they looked at me in the hot dog cart, not looking at me, the radio guy, and all the other stuff.
Okay.
They just judged me pretty much based off of what they saw.
Right.
So then when I started rolling and they started having issues, then they was like, man, you should have brought us along.
Right.
I kept every email and every text I ever sent them.
Sure.
So when they tried to badmouth me and people wanted me to be the villain, they just wanted me to be the villain, I just started showing the text messages.
Right.
Then it just made it. So I say that to tell people, if you know you're not doing nothing wrong, don't defend yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The light always comes out.
Right.
It might take a while. You might have to stand and it hurts. But at the same time, the light always comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, this is Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise, News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM, WINA. Price, Markey, Troy, Razor, Robinson. Big thanks, Jefferson School Foundation. JeffersonSchoolFoundation.org. So you come out of COVID, and so do you get the truck?
I get the
during
truck
that time as a part of
fund.
So that's right. Okay, so we're triangulating sort of World Central Kitchen, and then World Central Kitchen, hot dog cart. Hot dog cart becomes truck.
The trailer.
Hot dog cart becomes trailer.
Comes a trailer.
Via Fountain Fund and their support. When does CIC get involved?
CIC came along. Oh, no. CIC was before that. I still had the hot dog cart.
Oh, okay.
CIC came along with, it was Antoine.
Yeah.
Chef Antoine. And Sean from Soul Food Joint.
Yep.
Yeah.
While we were working on the downtown mall, right across from Raptures, Sean and Antoine used to be walking in class. So they said, man, you should join CIC. I was like, man, I ain't joining CIC. That's, I'm not thinking about furthering education and nothing, man. I'm just sell these hot dogs. Somebody gonna give me some money. That's it. That's all I know, right?
Right.
So eventually, I developed a friendship with them.
Yeah.
So when I went to CIC, it was more about the friendship that they had sold me about the organization than it was. But like now, people go to try to fund their businesses. Yeah. I already have my business.
Right.
Like I didn't need.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I didn't need them
like
for anything.
Like wanting to start, not necessarily they could teach you anything.
Right. I didn't. When I walked through the doors, I thought there was absolutely nothing that they could teach me. I was that arrogant. Right. I'm working already. What are you talking about? I'm
the founding partner of the restaurant.
Say it again. Yeah. So I went and I understood the power of relationships after being in there, because you have so many different business, so many different ideas, that you're learning something from the person who is selling sex toys, and the person who's selling health cookies, and the person who's selling bread. And, because a good idea is a good idea. The product is what changes.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned at CIC.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so much the business plan aspect and everything else that they were teaching, because I still didn't really know how to do that. I just knew I was raw because I didn't go to business school. I didn't have nobody teach me. I just did what made sense. I had street knowledge of how to take a product and turn it into revenue, and how to, I hate to use this word, but re-up on the product. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my lane. I was very good at it for a long time. So when it came to this, I just did the same processes. But being in a place like CIC really helped me understand that, okay, you got a good idea. You might not know what to do with it because you're so structured and the book tells you what to do and everybody does this. And that's one of the things that I don't like about, for lack of a better word, because I don't know what else to say, places like SBA and CIC and like organizations that have a curriculum.
Sure.
And I'm not saying this about, and please don't nobody from CIC hit me in the mouth when I walk out of here. Right. But what I saw back then was that nobody has a favorite 7-Eleven or a favorite McDonald's. So when you go through training like that, they tell you exactly what to do to get the loan by their criteria.
Sure.
But 85% of those businesses go out of business within a year, because if I can get what you're offering here, why would I go over there? So then you're trying to find, so that's why people are always preaching location, because you have to be in a certain place to get the traffic. But another way that I would ask people to look at it is, okay, what if I can offer something that you can't get in a place that traffic isn't abundant? And it doesn't make sense until you think of things like when people go to vacation, they go to remote islands, they go to the mountains, they go all these different places that don't have an abundance of people. Why? Because something is offered there that I can't get where I'm at. So I applied that logic to my business practices. What can I offer that you can't get from over here? Sometimes that's just me. The guy from the radio that's going to talk to you when you come in, that's going to make you laugh, that's going to have you engaged in conversation. And then it's not even about the hot dog or the hamburger or the steak and cheese. And by the way, I make an excellent steak and cheese. That's my staple right there, right? But that was the processes that I used. I didn't agree with everybody learning the same processes to do everything. It looks good to get your first business loan, but me selling lollipops as my start still has me in business 18 years later. You know what I'm saying? Without having large loans over my head, without having to mortgage houses, and because loans just wasn't something that was given to people that, I'm not saying look like me, have my background. So that's why the Fountain Fund was essential to my growth, because they tailor to people who have been in trouble. They can see beyond the felony to say, okay, does this person, at the time it was Paul Yates there. Paul Yates, I love him, right? Paul Yates took, oh God, y'all got me telling so much stuff. I'm gonna have so many enemies. Paul Yates took.
Cut your enemies while you can, I guess.
I went to Fountain Fund and turned in my business plan that I had done at CIC at the time. Now, granted, some of that work was probably because I didn't put forth enough work in it. But I'm proud of it.
When you were in the program.
When I was proud, I just passed. I just wanted to pass.
I turned it degrees, in. They say.
To Paul. Paul read it, looked it, threw it back in my lap, said, "What's this garbage?" Ain't nobody ever talked to Troy Robinson like that before, right? Yeah. So I'm sitting there looking at him like, man, who's this old man? And it's just something about him intrigued me. Well, Paul I kept doing things to please him. And I used one of the other CIC graduates to help me. I had the mind. They knew how to do the spreadsheets and they knew how to put it in.
Like the plan.
Right? Which also was what I learned at CIC about the power of coordinating with other
partnership.
People. No, not even partnership. Like that's a dangerous word.
Okay.
Yeah. To coordinate, it's almost like people saying this is my friend or this is my comrade. We got a common goal.
Okay.
And that's it. Once that goal is gone, we ain't got no ties to each other.
Okay.
So for me, I'm better at collaborating, coordinating with people to get this done without there being the hopes of it carrying on for a long time. Now, am I one of those kids that was ADHD as a kid that didn't get no medicine because, black people didn't play that back in the day?
That's correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I learned how to make it work, not against me. You know what I'm saying? Probably so. You know what I'm saying? Like, honest to God. But I learned to do that. And then I became the highest loan recipient ever in the existence of Fountain Fund.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like there's challenges. Like you and I play sports. Both of us play sports at a high level. Yeah. So the challenge is always there. Your family, your brother, your mom, like regardless if it's sports or not, y'all are gonna do the best. Like you recognize in people and generally you recognize that in people and generally y'all get along.
Right.
You don't know why you get along. You just do. And a lot of times it's that competitive nature and your comrades, for the goal. Right now, the show that we're having, I'm fortunate enough to be here with y'all, right? And the goal is to have an excellent show that gets a lot of high ratings.
Right.
After this show, there may not ever be another, we don't know what God has in store for us, right?
God willing, as they say.
Yep. But the goal is the same right now. Yeah. It's not me telling my story. It's not you asking questions. It's to get high ratings and be impactful.
Yeah. So talk about, so I think the latest headline from you, or at least that I've read.
Today.
Well, no, but the latest sort of thing in the news from you was TomTom.
Yes.
Right. And so that was, I think, and it might not have been. That was the latest. That was the latest big thing. That was a big deal.
Everybody knew you won.
Yeah.
That was huge.
So just tell us a little bit about that experience.
That was a gift and a curse.
Okay. Well, how so?
That's it, Paul. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
How you winning? That's a curse.
Yeah. It was a curse because once I won, I could no longer do the smaller events. If I showed up at like I'm a name caller, I'm gonna make everybody mad. If I show up at like the different expos, or I show up at the different pitch competitions, because I won TomTom, I was not going to win then. It didn't matter
because it was perceived as you were already beyond that thing. Okay,
so it did not matter.
You can't even stick to the rivers and the lakes you used to. You got to be in a big. You got to be in the ocean.
Well done.
And
that was good.
But TomTom is more of a popularity contest, and if I can't do anything in this world, I can talk.
Okay.
So I realized by watching the other, like when you do pitch competitions like that, right? And they're helping you build and cultivate your businesses. The idea is like, let's bring all the people together and we build off of one another. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to get you ready for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you gonna get all this poison at 100%. Right. So that was one of the things that I did. So while everybody else was working together, I didn't go practice with nobody. I didn't do anything. So when CIC and them were reaching out to me, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. But it was to help.
Okay.
I would recommend people do that. I just know that my strength is my voice.
Yeah.
So if you
don't want to give up the talent, the skills.
That's it.
The second I talk across the radio, it will make you panic if you're against me on the other end, right? So I knew that. So then one thing that they did that I can't say I didn't like, but I used it to my advantage is when I read the rule books, and maybe I read it wrong, is that it was supposed to be one person on stage. Well, they allowed, when I signed up, then all of a sudden, 2 people are allowed on stage, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, this ain't right. Okay, got you. So you had to pick a theme song to come out to.
What was yours?
I had my 11-year-old play the piano.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm pulling your heartstring. That was all strategic. So then my 9-year-old was getting the crowd hype.
Like on stage or like in the crowd?
On stage. I brought him. Like, so this was the thing.
It's like,
Hey, Price, I was going to ask for forgiveness instead of permission.
That's what I'm talking about.
So I went early and put his keyboard down there by the DJ person when nobody was there. Yeah. And I told the DJ, I said, hey, yeah, we're going to have my kid play. He was like, where? Right. I said, yeah, just hook it up like that. Yeah. And my son was like, Dad, you sure I can do this? I said, yeah, just do what you do at home. So he went out there and started playing Snoop Dogg. Boom, boom. So that's what I came out to, right? And the 9-year-old was clapping, trying to get everybody to clap. So that was my theme music.
Okay.
So, but it also, I wanted my kids to know that once I close my eyes and you have your kids, don't have any successes that you can't bring your kids along with.
Totally.
Yes.
That becomes their norm.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's where that played in part. Yeah. So then when I got up there, I made some mistakes where I was giving my pitch, because it still is a nervous thing. Sure. But I knew my asset was my voice. Mm-hmm. So to stay calm, to speak at one tone, that's right, engage with the crowd, was my strength. So
winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah.
And so last thing before we get you out of here, just tell us about, so what does that do for you, right? So you've won this competition. I mean, you've obviously, the arc has been up and to the right. This is a 2-part question. One, of all the stuff that you have done, are you still doing a lot of it concurrently? There's the barbershop, there's the transportation business. I'm assuming you're not riding dirt bikes anymore, but okay. But like how do you piece all of this stuff together, or have you started shedding some of it to focus on the food thing?
I only want to focus on Eat Better Today and Order Up Eatery, the restaurant that's open at the Jefferson at 233 4th Street Northwest.
Yep.
Eat Better Today is what I won the competition with, and that is my way to give back to the community. I want to, if I can real quick, my family, I'm trying to cement myself in like my ancestors' routes. My paternal great-grandfather built the first school bus for African-American kids in Culpeper out of farm equipment. On my dad's side, his grandfather painted the warrior princess that's inside of Smithsonian when you first walk in. My aunt, my dad's sister, was the nurse that worked with the doctor to create the dialysis machine. So I'm trying to
not a very accomplished crowd is what you're saying.
Right. So especially being just country people. Sure. Right. So I'm trying to have something that once I close my eyes, my kids can be proud of, and that is Eat Better Today. Eat Better Today is a concept where we take, and a lot of people are trying to replicate it now. So where people wanted to give me funding, once I did Tom, nobody wants to give me funding. So they want to try to create it themselves now that I've told what it is. But Eat Better Today is the concept of taking healthy food and turning food into medicine like it used to be. Sure. By means of taking food trucks out to food deserts and letting people use SNAP benefits to be able to pay for it. Now, people can pay for it, but you can also use SNAP benefits to be able to pay for these meal kits that are tailored to your health ailment.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So like pre-made, do people have to call, and then you calling to get an order based on those ailments, and then bringing them out to the food desert?
No. Outside of the trucks, it has QR codes, so you scan it with your phone, and it tells you which meals are tailored for what you have going on. Okay. So you can eat healthy, and it's zero waste because we've already taken the FDA standards by what a person needs in order to become healthy.
Right. Sure.
And then we don't use certain things like salts and all that type of stuff.
No salts? Okay.
No. You don't need salts. If you know the right herbs and seasonings, it creates salts. Okay. Right? If you use
every black person just listened, it's just said Troy.
Yeah.
Troy.
His Troy. Seasoning.
No, I don't know. I like a little garlic. I like a little.
Yeah. Well, no.
You do a little garlic.
Little
onion powder.
All that. Right. But this is the thing. Instead of using the powder, use the real thing.
Like onions.
Sure. Real food doesn't have labels.
Sure.
If you live by that, you'll be healthy.
So where are you in the evolution of that idea?
I am currently, because nobody wants to give me funding, everybody wants to take my idea now. I am selling my family property to fund it myself.
No kidding.
Oh my goodness.
I'm betting everything on me.
Wow.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my son from Atlanta is coming back up here this way, and we're gonna do what we just sink or swim like we've always done. So. Yeah. So I am looking for contracts from different organizations and places, because all of us can do this, right? You don't have to try to take it from me in order to make this happen, right? And I do understand, once I get it going, I do want to sell it and just keep a portion of it, because honestly, in America, it's too big for a black man to have. Sure. Like, we're talking about 7-8 figure business just here in this region. So if you go to every healthcare system across the United States that needs this service,
right,
there's no way. Like, that's why I'm smart enough to say I want to create the proof of concept and then sell it and then keep a percentage of it and let them take it to doorways that I don't even know exist.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Last thing before we get you out of here, quick piece of advice. What would you tell either young you or anyone else who's trying to, who's looking at their, coming out of being incarcerated at 20, right, without any of the sort of pedagogical background you would argue would lead you to where you are.
Right.
Right? Like,
right.
If you had that kid in front of you going, man, I don't know, like, what am I supposed to do? Right?
Don't let the world tell you that because of your background and your skin color that you can't do it. Right? Number 2, do it. Like the old saying goes, the best time to do it was yesterday. The next best time is today.
That's right.
And failing is not a failure. It's knowledge to learn on what to do or not to do the next time around.
Yeah.
Like, and going back to what Margie said, and I will use your word, the partnerships, right? Sometimes partnerships, I will say this when it comes to partnerships, sometimes it means that they won't let me do it. So I need to find somebody else that's a front face that they will let do it. And I'm still part of that thing. Yeah. Don't be so fearful that your idea is going to be taken from you that you're not willing to let it go in a different way. If you and I go to the movies and you're driving and I'm in the trunk, we still show up at the same time. Right. But a lot of times people don't want to look at it like that.
That's true.
They got to be in the passenger seat or they got to be driving. Yeah.
Right.
As long as I can be on the hood of the car or the back.
We got to get there
together. As long as I get there.
We got that. That's great. Yeah. Big thanks, man.
Yeah,
appreciate you hanging out
pleasure.
with us. That is the one and only Troy Razor Robinson. If you have ideas for us, want to get in touch with us, you can check us out on social media at United Way Seville, at City of Promise, or the inbox is open, Envision at UnitedWaySeville.org. How do folks keep up with you both? I mean, I think people know about Order Up, but if there are people that want to chat about the new business or fund it, I mean, just give people how do we find you?
The best way to find me is to pull up on me. Like, I understand.
Because I don't understand emails.
That whole thing, I understand it's the way of the world right now. But like over here at Order Up Eatery, with the Jefferson Center, with me and Miss Sheffield, we're creating on Friday evenings. We have things coming. So next Friday, we're having a comedy show. Alex Scott from BET is coming in.
Okay.
The following week after that, Queen, who is the does the spoken word from Gordonsville, she's coming in to do new pieces where we're going to have jazz music and things of that nature. So every Friday evening, we're going to have something here for the city of Charlottesville.
Wow,
so,
that's great.
Yeah.
Big shout out to
just pull up on me. I'd rather see you face to face. I'd rather smell your breath in my face so we can talk about what. Than read your email.
That is great. Look, we get support on the show from people like you. If you like what you hear, share it with your friends, share it with your colleagues, share it with your family. Subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Did your interns do the show notes yet?
No.
Ratings, reviews, show notes. We'll figure this out at some point. Best way to support us, consider making a contribution. Time, talent, treasure. City of Promise, United Way, any of our great local nonprofits. How we continue to do the great community-based work and, of course, the show. Big thanks to our sponsors, our friends, the aforementioned one and only Kim Sheffield and the Jefferson School Foundation. JeffersonSchoolFoundation.org, reimagined, redefined, refueled for the future. For Troy, for Marky, y'all stay cool. We will see you next week.
Peace.
We will see you next week.